and Development Committee meeting for January the 18th. The first order of business is a declaration of pecuniary interest, and I'll remind every member of your responsibility. We have none declared. Then we have one public meeting this morning, and it is to do with Bruce County Official Plan Amendment File Number 226-17.62 for Forbes, and I will turn it over to our planner for the report. Forgot her name.
Thank you. Good morning, Warden Eagleson, Committee Chair Smith, and Bruce County Council. Richard is seeking a surplus farm dwelling severance, and an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment are required to facilitate the severance. The Bruce County official plan amendment is required to permit an original Crown surveyed lot to be severed into more than 2 parts to yield a maximum of 3 lots. A zoning bylaw amendment is being processed concurrently. A public meeting was held in council chambers at the municipality of Northern Bruce Peninsula on December 11th, 2017. The Northern Bruce Peninsula Council passed a motion to approve the zoning bylaw amendment application and will consider adoption at a future meeting. If there are any members of the public here to participate in a public meeting for this property, I would ask that they sign in on the public registry just to my left here so that we can note their presence at the meeting and they can preserve their appeal rights. So a little bit about this subject property. The municipal address is 52 Spry Road in Northern Bruce Peninsula. The legal address is Concession 2, east of Bury Road, Part Lot 21 in Eastnor. The subject property is predominantly agricultural lands with a forested patch running adjacent to the northwestern property boundary. A dwelling and barn are located near to the south lot line. In 2010, the lot was the subject of a 2.3 hectare severance and rezoning to permit a contractor's yard where there had historically been a general store. The lands are currently designated agriculture and rural in the county official plan. Regarding public and agency comments, there have not been any objections or concerns raised related to the official plan amendment from public agencies or members of the public. Regarding matters of provincial interest, the agricultural policies of the provincial policy statement permit surplus farm dwelling severances subject to 2 conditions. First, the new lot must be limited to a minimum size needed to accommodate the use and appropriate sewage and water services, and the proposed 1 acre lot size for this severance meets this criteria. The second point is that new residential dwellings are to be prohibited on any remnant parcel of farmland created by the severance. And the zoning bylaw amendment being processed concurrently with this application recommends that residential development be prohibited on the retained lands. This application is consistent with the provincial policy statement. Regarding matters related to the Bruce County official plan, the Bruce County official plan amendment is related to section 6.5.3.3.1 of the plan, which is found in Appendix D of your report. And it restricts the number of severances permitted in an agricultural designation to 2 parcels per Crown lot, including the retained. The intent of this policy is to reduce fragmentation of agricultural land. Until 2010, the southeast corner of the Crown surveyed lot was zoned C2 Hamlet Commercial in recognition of the historical use of the property as a general store. In 2010, the use of the corner was changed to permit a contractor's yard, and the parcel was severed. Because the original Crown surveyed lot has already been severed to create 2 parcels, a county official plan amendment is required to permit the surplus farm dwelling severance. Except for the fact that 1 lot was previously created, the application meets the policies for a surplus farm dwelling severance. If the official plan amendment is approved, the application will be consistent with the County of Bruce official plan. Subject to review of objections and submissions arising from the public hearing today, I recommend that Bruce County Official Plan Amendment 226-17.62 for Forbes for the properties described as 52 Spry Road, Concession 2, East of Bury Road, Part Lot 21, Eastnor, be approved and the necessary bylaw be forwarded to Council for adoption. That concludes my report, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amanda. Does the committee have any questions for Amanda? If not, then Robert.
I was just kind of curious on the site plan Appendix A. It shows that the property on the one side runs off on an angle, and yet on, yeah, there it is there. Is that where the property line's going to be, where that one line runs off on an angle? And if it is, like, why did they do it on an angle? Like in the farming industry, everybody used these GPS for sowing fields and all that. Why wasn't that squared off?
That was what the applicant suggested.
Any further questions for committee? Is there anyone who would like to speak to this issue? No one? Then we do have a recommendation, and moved by Mitch, seconded by Robert, that the Bruce County Official Plan Amendment 226-1764 for the properties described as Concession 2 East Berry Road, Part Lot 21 Eastner be approved. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Thank you. Then the next item on the agenda is our 2017 Economic Development Year-End Program Report, and I believe Kara is going to present.
Good morning. Thank you, Committee Chair and Committee. What you have in front of you is a report for information. We thought we would bring you an update on the Economic Development Program and where it was at the end of 2017. If you'll remember, in November 2016 was when we adopted the Economic Development Strategic Plan, Find Yourself in Bruce County. And so it seemed prudent to bring a report forward to committee to show you what January through December looked like in the year of 2017, which is our first full year of action on that strategic plan. A couple of things. So Susan and I are going to handle this together. She's going to cover the Business to Bruce piece, and Nicole wanted to be here but was unable, so I'll update you on the Spruce the Bruce and the Explore the Bruce pieces. So just a couple of things that I'd like to give a special note to today was some of the recognitions that we had with the program over the last year. We were recognized by the International Association of Business Communicators for the Award of Excellence in the Branding for the Bruce brand, and all the work that went on there to integrate that, as you'll see in this room and throughout other places in the county. The Economic Development Association of Canada awarded Bruce County the EDAC Cup and also an advertising campaign award and a single publication award for the Pants Optional Marketing Campaign and for the Best of the Bruce Guide. Bruce County was also recognized at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference in August for its work with the Bruce County libraries to integrate the Business to Bruce program into the library branches. This was a really exciting project for us because it allowed us to get the Business to Bruce program and the county programs out there in each of our library branches and offer our different events and training through those as well, and Susan will go into that a little bit further, but we've seen a great uptake from people about sort of decentralizing that model and bringing it out to the library branches. And lastly, the county was recognized in Municipal World for an article called Changing the Face of Rural Economic Development, and this was the real focus on the macro approach. And this approach, I know I won't go into detail on it because you guys have heard it more than once, but really is becoming a leadership model on how rural economic development should unfold, and we're pretty proud of the action that we're seeing, or the traction we're seeing it taking place on the ground. So we deliver economic development through our three programs, which you're all familiar with: Business to Bruce, Spruce the Bruce, and Explore the Bruce. These are the programs that we use to provide incentive and support that economic development program on the ground. And so we just wanted to take a moment and give you a high-level overview of where those programs are at year-end. And if anything sort of piques your interest and you'd like us to dive into it any further, we're happy to come back with more detail. As I said, this was a high-level review at this point in time. So I'll turn it over to Susan to go over the strategic priority business development and how Business to Bruce performed in 2017.
Thank you very much. Nice to see everyone this morning. With the business development, we have three key areas that we focus our work on: the business foundations, business marketing and promotion, and support, outreach, and education. With the Business to Bruce program, 2017 highlights, we develop toolkits for the community. So the Business to Bruce toolkits are developed in collaboration with the local municipalities following the development of their business development branding and an attraction strategy. These toolkits become investment attraction strategy. We give marketing materials and a strategic action for the community to follow. And the work is done in collaboration with the community, with the business owners in the community and with municipal staff. In 2017, Kincardine and Wyerton, which were done initially as a pilot project several years ago, were updated, so they were brought up with the Bruce brand, and their materials were rebranded to bring into the current focus. In 2017, we began new work with Port Elgin, Southampton, Walkerton, Huron-Kinloss, and South Bruce. So all of those communities are in various processes right now. Some are finishing their toolkit, some are finishing their strategy, and within the next 3 months, all of that work will be done. They will all have their toolkits, and we'll start to move into implementation. RED funding, the Rural Economic Development funding through OMAFRA, Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, was secured in 2017-18, and it supports the Business to Bruce program for Saugeen Shores, Huron-Kinloss and Brockton. We will look at potentially another RED application depending on election and what happens with timing this year for new communities that are looking at coming on into the program. Business to Bruce Services, formerly which were the Small Business Enterprise Centre, it is still a provincially funded Small Business Enterprise Centre, but it was folded into Bruce County and as part of our economic development program, and we have that contract with the provincial government. So with that, we have some core programs that the province offers. The Starter Company Plus program provides grants of up to $5,000 for businesses, and these businesses can be new startups. They can be an existing business that is looking to expand or grow, and it can be somebody who is buying an existing business as well. So it's pretty wide open. You have to be in a growth mode, and you're able to look to this program. That program has been very successful. We're new for doing it. We've just had the Small Business Enterprise Centre this past year. We're continuing to grow the program, get the word out, get the marketing out. We're having really good feedback come in, and we're having a very good response from both existing businesses wanting to expand, which is exciting, as well as new startups, because the program is really meant to do both. One of the things that we're starting to do with that program too, which I think will be of interest to you, is we're starting to tailor the program so that if it is a business that is expanding, we're tailoring their training for their areas that they need additional training in. For those who are starting, they get the full suite of everything because they need it all. And we're working with Fanshawe to deliver the training for the Starter Plus. So Fanshawe has an entrepreneurial program which is 2 years in length. They have condensed the hours and are giving very tailored specific training for that program, which is very exciting. Summer Company program, you're, I'm sure, very familiar with. It's a $3,000 grant that is given to students who are returning to school and wish to try to run a business for the summer. Our aim there is to keep them positive, engaged, have a good time, have some success. They start off with $1,500, and so long as they really give it a good try, do their utmost, they get $1,500 at the end of the summer. In the fall. And basically, most kids, that's what they would save during the summer anyways. So it's forced savings, doesn't harm them in any way, and if they make money in their business, then it's a bonus for them, and they get the $1,500 at the end of the summer as well. We hosted Bridges to Better Business events. We hold 2 because of the size of the territory that we have. So we do one in the north and we do one in central or south. We held both of those in October 25th, 26th. They were extremely well attended. And that is the events that we hold out for the business community. It's really meant to be for their benefit. We also had a event that we hold for our municipalities and our municipal partners getting into gear, and it's really where we look at our strategy. The Women's Entrepreneur Conference we hold on International Women's Day, March 8th. We held it last year. This year, we're still setting our date. It'll either be the 7th or the 8th. We're just going to confirm that date in the coming week. And we have supported, Huron-Kinloss did a Win This Space event this year. They were calling for people potentially to win a restaurant space and wanting to have a restaurant start up in Ripley. They had 4 contestants that applied to it, and through the Small Business Advisory Centre, we developed a customized program. We brought in industry experts to help coach about starting up a restaurant. 3 of the people who were looking at it had run restaurants before, so they were very knowledgeable, but we provided a very customized program for starting up a restaurant, and we opened that to the public as well. So it wasn't just for them, it was developed to support that process, and we did have other companies come forward that wanted to take that training as well, which was very beneficial, and it's looking very positive for Ripley with that particular effort. And then final summary is just to give you an idea of some of the stats. We had 193 inquiries. We did 159 consultations with businesses, and this is with startups as well as existing businesses and growing businesses. 32 businesses were started and 5 were expanded through our direct work. There were far more than that started in the county, but that was our direct work. And 51 jobs were created through our direct work. And through the total outreach and participation, those are events and seminars and conferences that we host. We reached 826. We held 28 seminars and trained 349 businesses through that. That gives a highlight. And just before I close, I would also add, which I hope Kara doesn't mind, with the Business to Bruce program, as we develop those municipal, each community is developing their strategy and their brand and how they're going to attract businesses and investment and how they're going to support their existing. Each one has a slightly different flavor. And one of the things that we have the capacity to do is to use our Small Business Enterprise Centre to support that. So if a community wants to become very arts focused and an arts center, we can bring artpreneur training to that community. If they want to go social enterprise or that side, we can bring that type of training. So as we go forward this year, one of the things that we will be looking to do is to bring tailored, customized seminars, training, workshops out to our communities and work hand in glove with them as we move forward and pursue the targets we want to go after.
Okay, so thanks, Susan. As I noted, Nicole Egan, our Economic Development Officer in charge of sector, wasn't able to be here today, so I'll do my best getting us through this part. But the sector development pillar has 3 primary focuses related to our primary sector. So tourism attraction and product development, the nuclear energy support and development, and agricultural enhancements. To date, most of our focus has been in 2 core areas around Spruce the Bruce and Explore the Bruce. I'll give you some program updates on those 2 pieces. But this year as well, we've initiated a number of different programs to help advance both the nuclear and the agricultural piece. So the first one is Project Innovate, which this committee has seen an update on as of November, and that's to look at how we work or move forward a cluster development strategy around energy and the environment. The second one was we were successful in applying for a Rural Economic Development grant from a MAFRA for the economic impact of tourism. And the third thing that isn't listed here that we're looking to advance early on in 2018 is the business retention and expansion study in relationship to the agricultural piece. So those are 3 really interesting projects that I think will give us some good context on how we want to move forward on the sector side of things in coming years. With regards to Spruce the Bruce, you guys all know what the program is about and the various grants that we offer through that program. What we've included here for you is a really high-level summary of the grants. On the next page there, there's a table that shows you the grants and how you see those unfolding in 2017. So in 2017, the county contributed just over $87,000 through the Spruce the Bruce grants, and that was leveraged to a total of $720,000 locally. So that local investment piece was around $633,000. That was delivered through 26 projects. And what you start to see happening in the far right column, which I think is really interesting, is we're starting to see that return on investment ratio increase over the years. So you can see 2015, it was $1 invested by the county, leveraged $3.8 locally. It went to 4.8 last year, and then this year we're seeing it at $7.25. So the commitment that's happening at the local level from mostly our business community. You see an increase in that happening year over year as the program gets out there further. With regards to Explore the Bruce, one of the new things that we offered with Explore the Bruce this year was our collaborative marketing and regional marketing grant. This was its first year, and we had 3 projects that moved forward in that, which was an art map, the Rural Gardens brochure, and then Fulmer Landscaping and Garden Center moved forward a new event called Springtime in the Gardens here that was part of that. The Explore the Bruce marketing and advertising, we participated or did some advertising in Escarpment Magazine, Mountain Life Magazine, and some other areas like that. That was a direct result of some work we had done on the Explore the Bruce Adventure Passport, where we were seeing where people were participating and how best to, I guess, lure them into coming to Bruce County through the Adventure Passport program. We also moved forward our digital marketing campaigns. I'll let you guys look through the numbers there, and social media increases this year as well. And Adventure Passport, we don't have a lot of numbers in here, but the direct mail was 2,932 were sent out. We'll have some final numbers on the participation and what that looked like that can come forward as well. We continue to participate in various outdoor shows, the brochure swap, and we hosted a number of bloggers and influencers. That's changed from media tours, what it used to be, but bloggers and influencers from various areas in Bruce County this year. So as you can see, those programs continue to thrive and move forward. As I said, that's a really high level of sort of some of the key numbers and where things are at. Usually we give you a bit more of an in-depth look at things. So if any, as I said, anything piques your interest and you'd like us to dive in any further, we're happy to do so. I would say, though, that 2017 was a very successful year for economic development. Everybody is moving all of the initiatives we had forward in that strategic plan. Through your guidance, we're moving those programs forward, and you're starting to really see the traction on the ground. So thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kara. Ann, go ahead.
I had just had a couple of questions. When you said your media tours, we had what we called a FAM tour. Is that sort of the same thing?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, the FAM tour that was hosted in Kincardine this year was a direct strategy that came out of a meeting we had a couple of years ago, where it was with the cluster that's happening with the hotels that are in Kincardine. Is there a way to position Kincardine to host conferences and events? So it was a direct link to that association to see if there was a way to start to build that as a model for Kincardine with the hotels that are there. What we've done is actually hosting media in its new form, which is bloggers and online social media folks here to feature the county. And one of the things that we've done through that, they usually call us and say, can we go and see the grotto? And we have to say, not so much. Or if we can get you up there, especially if it's not like the August long weekend, but if we can get you up there, we want to make sure you're seeing the rest of the county as well. So when we have these folks inquire with us and we host them up this way, we make sure that we're focused on that itinerary piece and how do we draw them from our asset of the peninsula and make sure they're seeing the whole county. So they're a little different. The Kincardine one was a direct strategy to see if we could get the conference planning piece moving forward in the Kincardine area.
Okay. But sort of the same idea, only on a larger scale. So I just want to be clear. So the Small Business Enterprise Center, they provide the money. I just wondered how the relationship works, and I know I should know this, but I just wanted clarification again. So the government provides the grant money, and mainly that's where the government's money is, or do they also pay for some of our staff that run the Small Business Enterprise Center?
The short answer to that is we submit a budget to the province, and it includes a number of things, the grants, salary, administration, that sort of thing, and they offset the cost of running that program. It's not a full offset. There is a portion that the county contributes as well. So I wouldn't, not necessarily that their money goes directly to the grants, but goes to offset the entire program.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Horton.
Yeah, thank you for the report. Couple of things. The Summer Company Program provides $3,000 to students. Is there a cap on how many of those summer companies we can lend or give that 3,000 to, and how many in 2017 did in fact receive grants? And the third part of that, I guess, is in your chart here for 2017, you showed businesses started 32, very commendable. But were those summer businesses in part of that 32 count, and how many on that 32 count?
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chair. Answering those questions, we signed an agreement with the province to run the summer company program. That agreement, I believe, I'll look to Susan, was for 8, a maximum of 8, up to 8. In 2016, we had 3 successful participants in the program. That 32 that is in front of you in that table does not include those 3. That is mostly through this, what's called the Starter Company Plus program.
Yeah, thanks for that answer. That's I guess it's not what I was expecting to hear, which I guess brings the other thing. So we have funds that we can allocate out to 8 grants, and I hear today that there was only 3 businesses started. That's I would have thought there would have been a heck of a lot more. What are we going to do about that to see that we like that those $3,000 for those 8 grants? Might as well get out there, and whether it's a student for, like, I believe the ice cream carts, the hot dog carts, there's lots of window cleaning, there's lots of things. I believe we need those students to be more aware that those funds are available and get that money out there working.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, it looks like Susan's chomping at the bit to answer this question, so that's okay. I think she's got the detailed plans for 2018, how we're going to turn that around.
Well, and it's really challenging because what will happen with Summer Company, this happens traditionally, and the program's been around for about 15 years, to have 3 successful is actually pretty good, especially for your first year of doing it, and it was first year for the county. But one of the challenges is students will look at starting a business, and you'll have 10 or 12 apply, and once they figure out how hard it is to do the business plan, about 9 will keep on doing the business plan, and they'll be great, and you'll be excited, and you think, oh, I can only do 8. You'll be looking at wanting to approve 8, and then 5 will get really good jobs. And they all say, bye, got a really good job. This is a great idea, maybe next year. And so it is a challenge of not only you want to get the word out, you want to get as many exploring it. The whole concept too is we want as many as possible to explore, because exploring is almost as important as starting. And looking at that business plan and trying to put those ideas together gives them an appreciation for other businesses that are run in our community. It makes for much better citizens in the future. Hugely successful program, but it is a real challenge because you really get excited. You have these kids coming through and you think, oh, this is amazing, look what they're going to do. And then it's not bad that we end up with 3. 3 is really good. This year it looks like we're going to be limited to 4. The government, because it's election year and everything else, they're tailing down all of their different programs, and so we haven't heard our final number, but we've been told that we'll probably be limited to 4. We're hoping that we might get 5 or 6. Given the size of our jurisdiction, as we roll this program out and we really get it out there and our communities help us to get the word out there, and everyone is really doing a good job in helping us, we should see this program grow to 8 or 10 every summer. You know, ebb or flow a little bit, but hugely successful program.
Milt.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kara, could you just explain our involvement in the agriculture piece of things again, please?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, the agricultural piece we haven't had a lot of involvement in that in recent years. We've looked at partnering with Grey and Simcoe counties. They are undertaking a business retention and expansion study. And so we've had some initial conversations with them about undertaking similar work here in Bruce County. It would be a very scoped study, but would hopefully give us some insights into where, as the government, we can influence or help the agricultural sector, because I think right now that's one of the places where we do struggle to figure out where we can maybe influence or participate a little bit more. So that's why partnering on that business retention expansion study made sense, it would hopefully give us a bit of insight into where that might move forward.
Yeah, just a comment. I think we always have had a problem trying to figure out where we fit in agriculture. So, and it is a challenge. I agree.
Councillor Yee.
guess I didn't turn mine off. And Milt, I've struggled with this too because of so many different organizations in agriculture advocating, and you know, I remember in corn, it went to the corn producers so much. The producers paid so much for that, and I think it's still the same with the grain growers. They have other means of funding. So I think it'll be a challenge. I'll be very interested to see if you can find a gap, an area that isn't covered that would be the best use of our money for agriculture, because there are so many different commodity organizations and different groups. It's a very complex, if you go through OMAFRA and make contacts with them all. So, you know, maybe it'll turn out it's a very small sector that we can support, but that's still valuable. Maybe it's a sector that's kind of left out and does truly need some support. So I'll be most interested in seeing what you find out.
Any further questions? Thank you, Susan and Kara. So that's the end of our agenda. So the next meeting will be February 15th, and I'll take a motion to adjourn. Milt and Janice, all in favor or adjourn? Thank you.